smile, every hug, every kiss, every touch, every person in my life that I care about and love. But wait, maybe I'm getting too emotional. That's exactly what they say you ain't supposed to do. Suppress your feelings, never talk about your pain. Can't appreciate the sun without acknowledging it rains, right? That's right. So this a moment of clarity. And make sure you always protect your energy. You stay focused and your life gon' be lit. And you are now rocking with Celeste the Therapist. Let's go.
Hey y'all, so thank you for being here. My name is Celeste. I'm a therapist from Boston. If you've never been here before, I come on, I talk to people who are doing things to empower the lives of others by sharing their story. And the goal behind this is just to help shift the way you think. So I'm currently streaming on, hey Derek, I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. For now, Periscope is leaving soon. It's leaving. They're not making enough money, so they're leaving, which is why you gotta build your own platform, because you never know when they're gonna swipe it up. I'm gonna add my co-host to the stream right now. As the ambulance or something is going by, we'll wait till that goes by, because I don't want my audio messed up.
Oh my God.
All right, we're here. Okay. Hi, Jeff. Can you introduce yourself? Ooh, no, don't introduce them yet, because I don't want to mess up my audio.
They really were coming down my street.
Right, yeah. And you can appreciate the audio issue. You know how it is.
No, I get it. Well, thank you for having me today, Celeste. I'm Jeff. Good to see and hear everybody.
Thank you for being here. Can you tell people what you do? Because I treat every episode as if I have a new listener, because the goal is to always have new listeners. So tell people.
Of course. I'm Jeff. I'm a executive organizational coach and facilitator. So the shortest way I can put it is I help people, try to conquer their tough problems.
Yeah, you do. And you do a great job, at least from what I've experienced of you. I feel like you do a great job.
Thank you for qualifying that compliment. You went from you do a great job to at least from what I know.
From what I know.
Maybe I suck horribly. Thank you so much.
So one of the things we do, we come on, we talk about relationships so people can ask questions, and sometimes we talk about topics. And so today I want to talk about this guy that's extremely popular for some people. Do you want me to show a clip then we...
Yeah, well, let's set it up. So this guy, he has a relationship show of his own of sorts, and his name is Kevin Samuels. You may have seen him. He's like a very well-dressed, well-spoken black guy who viral clips go of him telling people, let's see his tone, but he's talking to people in a way, let's see his tone, and let's talk about
it. All right, so let me share my screen with you all.
So I think for it, basically, if you're black, I feel like at this point, this guy will be familiar. Celeste is working on the audio, but
51% of black men are single and childless. 64% of them in the class. See what they're not. And then you've experienced putting you through a lot. That's your problem.
That was hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. I don't know. I think I saw somebody say
Were you guys able to hear it? There's no audio. You got to stay off mute. The host does. Did you guys hear it? I just seen the comments.
Even if they didn't, people are familiar. I think enough people are familiar with Kevin Samuels. Okay, so
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Y'all didn't hear it?
Mic check, 1, 2.
I can hear you now.
All right.
Oh no, they couldn't hear it.
Even if they couldn't hear it, people are familiar.
I'll make sure it's on the audio podcast though.
Right. People are familiar with Kevin Samuels, right? So a woman comes on and she says, "Oh, I know I'm a queen." He goes, "Ma'am, you're not a queen. How old are you, first of all? 38 years old? Okay, you got 2 kids, you're 38 years old, you're not a queen." And it's kind of like that, right? And he'll do it, let me say, sometimes people accuse him of misogyny, but I've seen him do it to dudes too, okay? Where a guy, he says, listen, you fat, you don't have this, you don't have that, blah, 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 you're not going to get a woman, right? So, Celeste, seeing how you just heard that, you're a therapist. This guy, listen, he's telling it like it is, right? Isn't that good? Isn't he? What do you think? What do you think? Is that good, what he's doing?
I don't think it's good. So we're talking, for people that are joining, we're talking about Kevin Samuels, a really popular guy who has a dating show, actually, and people call in. I think it's bad. And I cringe a lot of the times when he is asking women to rate themselves, and, they are rating themselves high as they should. And then he's very ignorant, and he will tell them that that's not true. I guess the first thing I think of, not about him, I don't really think about what's wrong with him. I think more so, why are people calling in to somebody to listen to them, degrade them the way that he does? I think more of that person's self-esteem, because, I always think about choices, and he has a choice to have a dating show, and I'm sure he makes good money. But we also have a choice on whether or not we're going to call and ask somebody is ignorant. He shows time and time again that he's ignorant, and women are still calling him to hear him say what he says.
Well, and I want to parse the word ignorance. So when we say ignorant, do you think that means he's dumb?
He's not dumb. I think he's just mean and
right. It's not that he's stupid, is that he's willing. He's clearly, the things he's saying are sharp. They're hurting. When I say they hurt, right? And I bring this up because I see this popularity. People like it. And in my one of the cornerstones of my practice is something called radical candor. Okay, radical candor. And radical candor is a way of approaching communication that's both highly compassionate and highly direct. That's the goal, right? So somebody who will tell you like it is, but also who cares about you and cares about your feelings. And I would say that Kevin Samuels, he is very direct, right? He is very direct, but he seems to show a lack of compassion. And whether that's theatrical, whether that's for the show, or whether deep down he just feels that way, right? We don't know that, but he shows a lack of compassion. And it's certainly not nice. It's mean, right? Celeste, you said you're cringing as you're watching. It's hard to watch. He'll say, yep, that's him. That's not the most flattering screenshot I ever seen.
He doesn't need a flattering screenshot.
But that's him. So the thing to think about is, oftentimes people like that, though. When I say people, I mean spectators, not the recipient. People like that, right? They like the idea that this guy's he's telling it like it is. Listen, I just say the truth, right? And so I think something to think about. Radical candor has 4 quadrants. If you think of it like an X and a Y axis, right? So the classic X and a Y axis. And then there's the what is it? The Y axis is doesn't care, cares. And the X axis is doesn't what's it? Silence or direct.
Thank God I went to O'Brien because I'm still following. Go ahead.
Okay. So the point is, what he does is, in radical candor, it's called obnoxious aggression, right? There's radical candor, which is compassionate and direct. There's obnoxious aggression, which is direct but no compassion. There's manipulative insincerity. That's when you're both not direct and you don't care. So that's somebody who goes like, yeah, great. Because they don't care at all. Hey, Celeste, good to see you. Then they make you turn around because they don't actually care. And then there's ruinous empathy. Somebody who cares but isn't direct. Somebody who, you see this every time. It's like a form of enabling. When you watch like My 600-Pound Life, and the woman or the person can't even get out of bed. So somebody else buys them 10 Big Macs. And then they say, but I need this, right? And they say, yeah, you need it, baby. You need it. When they clearly don't need 10 Big Macs. But they're just telling them my emotions are dominating what I communicate. So I say all this to say that people like to see people get told the truth because we think we know the truth. And the only problem is other people won't listen. Right? But so what's interesting about this show is I think people they imagine that they are Kevin Samuels. Right? That's what you like about it, that you're Kevin Samuels, just telling people, he's telling people what he really thinks about them the way we wish we could tell people.
Oh, that's not always you think so?
That's what I think people get out of it, right? Wouldn't it be fun just to give somebody a piece of your mind? I don't care about your feelings. I just call balls and strikes. I just tell it how it is. Wouldn't that be fun?
I don't know if it depends on the person that I'm dealing with. He's talking to random strangers. I honestly think he was hurt. I think he was screwed over a few times and he switched up his demeanor and now he is looking to hurt women. It doesn't seem like he likes women at all.
It certainly doesn't seem, while again, he will be as direct with men. He certainly gives off certain vibes that it's like you don't watch this and go, oh, I couldn't, Celeste, I don't think you say, man, I wish I could be with him because my God. Even though, he appears to be tall, thin, handsome, well-dressed, and now he's popular. So that seems like what you would want. But there's something about just not giving a fuck about somebody that's just unattractive. Right? But believe it or not, I don't want to talk about that because I want to rag on Kevin Samuels, who I don't really care about him either. Yeah. I wouldn't talk to him the way he talks to people, but I don't really care. I don't care about that. But there's an underlying assumption in everything that he does that I think people have, that what he does works, right? Mm-hmm. That what he does works, that it's mean to be like him, right? Mm-hmm. But that he gets results.
When you say results, you mean his popularity? Or?
No, not that. Those results he does get. I mean that he tells some woman, ma'am, you think you're a 10, but you're not even a 7. Ma'am, you're overweight and you're old. You have children. So no high value man is going to want you. When he gives that speech, which he basically gives over and over again, the idea that works, that somehow that's just what I needed to hear. Thank you, Kevin Samuels. Now I'm going to go and rebuild my life.
Well, Derek says, shout out to Derek. He has a Relationship Gumbo podcast. A lot of people have made so many bad relationship choices that they are desperate to find out why. And he takes advantage of that.
Yeah, I think that's true. It doesn't mean, the phrase that a stop clock is right twice a day, right? Like, I'm not saying everything he says, the opposite is true or something like that. It's true that there's a type of ego defense where people go, hey, listen, I know, some a woman who weighs 300 pounds, which 300 pounds is not healthy for 300 pounds is not healthy for any type of human. There's no human who 300 pounds is their healthy weight. It's not the healthiest you can be and be 300 pounds. That's just the science of it. But he will find someone and some woman will say, but I know I'm beautiful. And he'll be like, no, ma'am, no, you're as big as a refrigerator and blah, blah, blah. But reason why Celeste and I are talking about this is because it's clear as day if you do this kind of work. That does not help people. Mm-hmm. Attacking them dead on like that. It does not help people. Because what happens, Celeste? What happened? Have you ever had a client, Celeste, that they had a problem? Let's say the same problem they had last month. They're like getting into it again. I was dating a guy who's not good for me because he drank. And now I met another guy at the bar and he's good. But last night he said he didn't call me because he passed out.
Right.
And you can see what's coming. Yeah. And then you tell them, ma'am, you're toxic. You date alcoholics. And that's why you're going to be alone. Right.
Right.
Is that what you say?
No.
Why not?
It's not productive. They're not going to hear me. at one point when I was trying to lose weight, I knew I wanted to lose weight, and I was still eating the way I wanted to eat. So it's not a matter of me not knowing what I need to do. It's a matter of me shifting my mindset to make a commitment and a choice to do what I need to do for myself.
Celeste, what does it mean when you say they're not going to hear you? Like they're just not going to hear it? What does that mean?
So they hear me, but it just goes in one ear and out the other. When you think about it, there's a lot of self-help books. There's a lot of different things for people to work on themselves, a lot of podcasts. So it's not a matter of a lack of information. It's really a matter of, your mindset shifting, if that makes a sense. So that, attacking doesn't change what people may already know. Right. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And Celeste, you and I haven't talked about this before, right?
No, we haven't.
And yet we
never talk about anything.
we don't do any pre-show prep.
I was late, actually.
But we don't never say like, what's our positions on this? But I asked that. I'll use an analogy that I didn't invent, that I read. There's books by Jonathan Haidt and Robin Hanson, who both use this analogy central to the book, sometimes called The Elephant and the Rider. Okay, the elephant and the rider. So your emotions are the elephant. Okay, that's your emotions are like an elephant. Okay, it is intelligent, but primal, right? And your conscious mind is like the rider that's riding the elephant. Okay, and so what you'll often see is people make decisions based on feeling and emotion. The elephant goes where the elephant wants to go. And then out loud, the rider tries to justify it, right? You see that a lot. Like, you're on a diet. Celeste, I'm sure in your weight loss journey, this must have happened. You're on a diet. Then you have a tough day. You come home and you say, listen, I'm on a diet, but tonight is pizza night. Okay. I got to eat pizza.
Like, fuck this diet.
Because the elephant is running towards pizza. But the elephant's just running towards pizza. And then the rider, just a little person on top, doesn't really have a lot of choice, goes, well, this is okay because I'll eat double healthy tomorrow. Or everyone deserves a break. Or, you know what? Why are we concerned so much with aesthetics? Whatever thing that the rider says, because the elephant's already running that way. Right? And you can demonstrate this again and again and again in the lab. So I say all this to say, the problem with what Kevin Samuels does is he's talking to the rider while he's kicking the elephant, right? He's saying, man, I'm going to tell you the truth. And he slaps the elephant. And you'll see again and again. And now that I tell you this, watch people on this show. Kevin Samuels is smart. He's probably smarter than most of the callers. He's a very smart guy. But as he talks to the person with words, he's stabbing the elephant of their emotions. And guess what happens? The elephant starts running wild, making excuses. Dude, it's even less under control than it was. That's what makes it counterproductive. When Celeste says, "Oh, they're not going to hear you," it goes in one ear and out the other. The truth is, until that elephant is like calm and can like kind of stand in place, there's no talking to the rider. The rider's just hanging on for dear life. You'll see this in your own life too. Why do you choose a mate that it's not good for you, but you do it? The elephant chose him. Why do you overeat, or why do you go back? Heroin addicts know that heroin is bad for them. They're aware of that. No one says this is vitamins. Mm-hmm. They all know. And yet if we go down to Boston's methadone mile, you'll see 150 opiate addicts at any time, day or night. They intellectually comprehend what opiates have done, but the rider is powerless versus the elephant, who's just totally wild on need, on just getting those basic cravings met.
The rider is powerless?
No, sorry, powerless is not the right word. Okay. You're right. Thank you for correcting that. Not powerless. The elephant's really out of control. And so the rider is oftentimes, if someone's a drug addict, the rider just stops even saying anything.
Yeah.
It says, look, we're going to do we're going where this elephant wants to go. But no, you're never powerless.
Yeah.
But thank you for correcting that, Celeste.
You know how I am. So, I think that what you're saying, I mean, we just happen to be talking about Kevin Samuels, but your analogy was so on point. And I think a lot of times emotions tends to be the thing that we allow to make decisions for us. And if someone is listening to this, like, how does one get control of their elephant?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
It's a solution focused podcast. So like you brought up some real shit that be happening that, so especially when it comes to who we choose as a mate, not just a mate, a friendship, a job, what does one do to help control that elephant?
I think the toughest thing, so you figure out the triggers of the elephant, right? What is it that makes you get so angry that you lose control? Or what is it that makes you get so, you feel so lonely that you go back to somebody that you knew was abusive or, not good for you? You knew that last month, right? Because last month the rider had some influence on the elephant. And this month the elephant gets agitated and now the rider can't get the elephant to do what it wants it to do, right? That's why I also say the phrase feeling follows action, right? If instead of figuring out, you're trying to switch it around where instead of going, okay, I'm going to justify what direction the elephant's already going, you spend a lot of the work trying to soothe the elephant, take care of whatever your emotions are so you're in a calm state, and then decide and be intentional. It's not that I'm not saying you can never go back to an old flame, but decide to. Don't cave to the elephant. I'm not saying you can never break your diet and eat pizza, but decide to, right? If it was a diet, for example, if your cheat day is on Saturday and that's the day you cheat, then you decided to eat pizza that day. If you just say, I need a cheat day, it's 2 p.m. and you just can't walk, you're struggling to walk past the ice cream shop. That's the elephant telling the rider where to go, right? And so you have to be aware and intentional of this. People have all types of rationalizations that we use to justify the things where our elephant is pulling us. And you can never not have feelings. People say, oh, I've gone ice cold or whatever, dating made me a savage or whatever it is, the idea that you can somehow not have emotions, but you do. You do. We're all riding that elephant. And so the issue is, can you develop mechanisms and do the work to not just be a slave to the elephant and instead get the input without being dominated?
I like it. And I think what I hear people say sometimes is, well, this is just how I am, or, I can't help how I'm, this is just me. I think that when people say that, it's a cop out, and it's a way that, because I feel like we can make our mind believe anything it wants to believe or be content with whatever. And so I like how you said, it's not about, you have to do this perfect thing all the time, but decide that you're going to do it. Don't say like, I can't help it, because I think we can help the things and choices that we make, but it's a choice not to. So say I'm choosing to make this choice. And I think when people start to change their mindset and think about it in that way, it makes their decision making, or it makes the change happen a little bit different.
I think that's true. And you can apply this broadly. This is, in the end, what Celeste and I have in common is that our job is to help people change their minds. Right? That's what Celeste and I have in common. Mm-hmm. And so because I know that, because I'm doing it all day, every day, I know that agitating somebody's emotions is not the way. On TV it is, right? That what's it? The bad teenager. What was that girl? Bad Baby. So the little like black acting. So there's the little black acting white girl who says, "I don't care. I'll do what I want." Mm-hmm. And then like, I don't know, a sergeant, whatever, Dr. Phil has a sergeant come out. Oh. You're going to listen to your mother. You're going to listen. And then the idea is that in 2 weeks they'll be shaped up. Or even Scared Straight is proven not to work.
Really?
Where they take kids and bring them to prisons and show them. And the dude says, "I'm going to get you in here and you're going to be my bitch." And then
that's proven not to work.
It's proven they can just look at the stats and say, does it versus a control group, do more of the kids who go to Scared Straight, are they scared straight, or do more of the kids actually commit crime? And what they find is that Scared Straight is worse than no intervention at all, because the reason why that is because this elephant thing. Well, either they go in there and go, "You're saying I'm not tough enough to live, but I am," or they go in there and they go, now that I've seen it, it's demystified, or I kind of thought those dudes were cool, or just this is inevitable, so I might as well get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay. The elephant takes off in some weird direction because you agitated it, right? The elephant meaning their emotions, versus interventions that say, listen, we need to help you interrupt your own negative behaviors. Since most kids are not ice cold sociopaths, but rather they're making bad decisions in the moment based on, let's say, peer pressure, or when they get depressed, they need to feel a thrill, or when they get angry, they act out and they hit somebody. The elephant doesn't need more kicking. They need to learn how to get that elephant under control. That's almost everybody's problem. Very rare is somebody's problem. I'm an ice cold sociopath that loves murder.
Right.
Those people exist, but they're less than 1 out of 100. So scared straight doesn't work. What work? And Kevin Samuels is like a relationship scared straight, kicking the shit out for your entertainment, and it doesn't work. That's why no good therapist or coach operates like that. Not because they don't have the guts, but because it doesn't work.
So I like that, because I'm thinking about people in relationships when something feels wrong, and I got out of doing couples counseling because I just could. By the time people came to me, it was like towards their breaking point, and my head couldn't take it. But one thing that happens is I think emotions come into play with one party, and they attack because they don't like the way that person makes them feel or whatever it is. So what you're saying, for people that are listening, attacking your partner based off of how you feel may not be the right answer.
Well, to keep belaboring this analogy. So my elephant's upset. So then it storms over and says something to get your elephant upset. And now we got 2 stampeding elephants, and that's going to solve the problem?
No, it's not.
It does not. And so a lot of the most effective interventions, you realize, are just ways to calm the elephant. So for example, a relationship at work, someone writes you something, they say, Celeste, per my last email, you didn't do this. And meanwhile, they never sent no other email. Right? And then the advice would be, should you just craft a reply right then and send it that minute, Celeste? Is that what you should do?
I used to, but now I take a moment to calm myself down.
Some people would say take a day. They would say, write that, you can write that angry letter, but if you want to send it tomorrow. Right? Look at tomorrow, then evaluate. Because by tomorrow, it'll be a decision. But tonight, it's the elephant saying, I'll show you. Right? And so a lot of bad decisions are made in the heat of the moment. Right? In that way. And so in your relationship with your mate or even your parents, or I think parents are at least as good an example in this case.
Yeah.
Where they say something, you say something. Everyone knows each other's triggers. Everyone knows exactly how to kick the other one's elephant. Nobody more than your family knows how to hurt you. And they know that they used to call you Popeye, Celeste. They know that. And so they just break it out. They break it out because they know how to just stab you right where that elephant will just stampede. Right? A stranger can't do that to you. Stranger don't know what hurt your feelings. They can make a guess, but your family knows. And so you have to have the foresight to be like, okay, before I respond in kind, I'm going to pull back. If it's really right to hurt them back, then I'll feel the same way tomorrow.
It's true.
Right? And maybe you do. But then it'll be a decision versus in this moment, you're just reacting. When your elephant gets mad, everyone's elephant got to get mad. Yeah. And a bunch of angry stampeding elephants is not how relationships should work.
No, it's not. And it's not about you not getting mad or it's not about your emotions not being valid or anything like that. I think what I'm hearing Jeff and I say is that probably take time to process so that when you are going to your children or your partner or whoever it is, it can be a lot clearer. It could be more clear, and a little bit more easier for the other person to take in, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I think it's important to just, again, it's all about being intentional. Your feelings are valid, but they're not always wise. Right? Just doing whatever you feel like. It's not that you're wrong to feel that way, but the conclusions, your emotions are not great strategists for how to get to where you want to get in life. Oftentimes, almost everything we need to do requires a certain amount of emotional discipline, right? I feel like saying this, but I will say that. I feel like doing this, and I will do that. And again, so when you hear somebody, you see somebody who they're, in your opinion, their appearance doesn't match how they describe what they think their appearance is. In other words, they go, I know I'm a dime. And you look at them and they go, I don't know that you're a dime. Your feelings say, take them down a peg or two because arrogance and hubris is ugly. But that's the bad instinct, both because it's mean, but moreover, if your goal is to has any magnanimity to where you want them to be a better person, all you're going to do is stampede their elephant. And you see this all over your life. Often when I'm coaching and working with people, very often what I encounter is first they come in, they tell me what the problem is. I struggle with X. Then as we talk, they immediately describe doing the thing they said they struggle with. So it's not like they need some genius to say, oh, I know what the problem. You say you drink too much, and now you're saying that you're about to go to the liquor store. Right? Like, they know. But it's right now, the only way they soothe the elephant from being rage is liquor.
Yeah.
Or the only way they cure depression is sex and intimacy, even if someone's toxic. Or the only way they fix their anxiety is by helicopter parenting their kids. Right. They have a mechanism to soothe the elephant that is destructive, but it does stop the elephant from doing the thing they don't want it to do. And we're just trying to get to a place. We're trying to build new ways to tame that elephant. That's the whole gig. So
should we call this episode Taming the Elephant?
That sounds true to me. Sounds true to me. Tame that elephant.
That's good. I like that. This was good. I appreciate this. I promise we never know what we're going to talk about, but we tend to end up being in sync all the time. Yeah.
Well, I think if you do this work, it ain't 1,000 ways to do it. There's a bunch of methods, That's
like so true.
But in the end, people respond to trust and caring and listening, and kicking the shit out of them because you don't think they're as pretty as they think they are does not help anybody. It helps your ratings, I guess, if you want to like exploit people in that way. I feel the same way about it that I feel about like Maury, where he's doing you a favor by getting you a DNA test, but really he's tearing these people up. He's little Daquan, and then is this guy the father? Like, oh, why? Everyone involved, why? Please don't do this. Nothing good. Even if it's you are the father, just do that at home.
Yeah, I think that that it feels like another conversation because these type of people tend to be popular. So it says something about us as the listeners and watchers of this kind of stuff, and what entertains us,
It does. There's something we like to see people. We like to see things that we think are real, like real emotions, whether it's real joy or real heartbreak. So the same reason why we like to see, Dominique Dawes get a gold medal for doing a triple backflip in gymnastics. We like to see somebody find out at the moment that they thought they were saying this was the baby father, but it's not. Because like real emotion is like, feeling something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a point where it's exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where you're breaking people's hearts for the entertainment of others. Mm-hmm. And it's not just that it's not nice. Again, if Kevin Samuels would have an argument, if it was, listen, I'm fixing these people. Yes, it hurts, but it's like getting your wisdom teeth pulled. It hurts, but you're better. It's not the situation. This is like boxing, where one person's a good boxer and one person's a bad one. He's just punching you in the face until you get knocked out. Then he turns around and goes, "Yeah, champion!"
Right.
And it's ugly. It's an ugly thing. I'm not saying I like hate him, like I want him to die as a person, but it's a negative thing, not a positive thing.
No, it's not. Thank you so much, Jeff. Did you know that we're on again on Monday?
I know now. So we got to spread that. We're going to be on it. We promise this time we're going to answer questions. So we'll make sure to share the link so y'all can ask questions.
I was fixing my calendar for March and you're on next week.
Next week, so Monday, March 1st.
March 1st, yeah. So
the
before
Women's Day, Women's Month.
Oh, it's Women's Month. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we're gonna get us women together. Tell people about how they can find you and about Hella Black Trivia.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on social media, Jeff Gray, Hella Black Trivia. We did Hella Black Trivia, been very busy in February particularly, but it's as we oftentimes describe it, trivia with seasoning. right? It's just a fun night to come out and do trivia online or in person eventually, but Black trivia with seasoning. And of course, that's really my side job between being a coach and facilitator, which you can also find me. Yeah,
Jeff at Jeff Leeds.
Jeff at RogersLeeds.com.
Jeff at RogersLeeds.com. Okay, that was good. Thank you so much. You didn't do the beard thing too much this time, so.
Oh, the beard. Well, we all got our thing, and that's mine. But I got something at 8:15. But listen, I love y'all. I'll see you on Monday. Celeste, just remember to share that link so we can get questions in here and answer these people's questions because that's what they want. All right.
That's what they want. So that was another episode. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. I think I'm gonna call this episode. I think I'm gonna call this episode "Taming the Elephant." I wasn't prepared for that analogy, but it kind of took us through the whole entire episode. So that was pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. So we'll be back Monday talking to Jeff again, and I will see you guys later.